America. They're known as the 12s, and they have packed the stands. They are ready to rock and roll for this divisional rival that will turn into the winner of the NFC and the representative in Super Bowl 60. It is electric here as we're about half an hour to kick off of the game. So with that, we invite you to come on out here and stay a while, folks. I'm Kurt Menefee here, fieldside today. We appreciate you joining us for this NFC Championship contest. And thanks to Ryan Gosling, whose film Project Hail Mary will be in theaters and in IMAX on March 20th. Of course, it's Championship Sunday. Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, Michael Strahan, Rob Gronkowski. You know a few things about this.
Yes. I love Ryan Gosling, by the way. He's a great actor. But this is going to be a great game today.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be a lot of fun.
He's a good-looking guy as well, Terry.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, Ryan is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know who looked good is just about over in Denver. It is over now officially. So the Rams and the Seahawks already know whoever wins this game will play the New England Patriots. Howie, last year they won 4 games last year, 4-13, and now all of a sudden they're back in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's kind of the same kind of story here. It's Seattle, New England. So they needed to make change, and they did.
Well, this was not a pretty game on either side. In those weather, you see how tough it was to kick field goals. Game decided by a field goal. Second half of the game, I don't think anybody did anything. Just a matter of who didn't mess it up. And the Patriots coming out on top, going to 12 Super Bowls is pretty remarkable, especially with that team and Vrabel coming in and really just, turning around so quickly.
It was one of the best turnarounds in sports from where the Patriots were last year, then going out and getting Mike Vrabel as their head coach, and then having this turnaround and now going to the Super Bowl. Pats Nation, we're going back to the Super Bowl, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
I'll be honest, he was sitting next to me watching all stressed.
I was, and then that Drake May run right there, he outran number 52, for that first down with less than a minute left to seal the deal. But hey, I can say this, that gold jacket is 100% waiting for RKK to go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. There is no doubt about that. One of the best owners in all of sports.
You just put pressure on him to make that happen.
I mean, he's going back to the Super Bowl.
Listen, I feel for Sean Payton in Denver. You go into that game after you lost your quarterback. I think they made a bad decision when they got down on around the 8-yard line by not taking points. I'm all about points in playoff games. I thought Sean could have tied the game up at 10-all, and as you saw, the final was 10-7, I believe. So therefore, but once again, great job by Sean Payton turning that thing around. Unfortunately, they lost their quarterback. And then Drake May, congratulations. Second-year guy taking your team to a Super Bowl. Amazing.
And with Mike Vrabel in his first year as head coach there. Howie, that was close throughout. What do you expect today in this contest?
They made a change in New England, and look where it's gotten them. They had to make a change in Seattle. In 2023, Seattle went to Baltimore, got their brakes beat off by a young, brilliant defensive coordinator. And it was then that John Snyder realized we need to make a change if we want to get back to this game. Now just 2 seasons in under Mike McDonald, they're 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Could be a great rebound.
All right, we're going to talk much more about this matchup in the NFC Championship game. But before we go to break, we got some cool news.
11 false starts in 1 game. 11. Because you cannot hear yourself think. But I think the Rams have a veteran team. They've been here many times before. Quarterback, offensive line, wideouts. I don't know if it's going to bother them as much as it's bothered other teams in the past. I think they have some experience with it. But you're really going to have to rely on just knowing the cadence of your quarterback, knowing the rhythm of your offense, and really be honed in on your responsibilities. Because you can't even simulate how it feels to be on offense.
You can't hear me right here.
No, I can't.
It makes communication so tough.
If you look at this game, everybody's going to talk about the quarterbacks. And when I think about Seattle and Sam Darnold, you cannot play this game today without confidence. I think he's got that. Now, everybody says, well, he's had 6 interceptions against the Rams this year in their 2 games. Okay, so be it. But here's the thing. In Week 16, down 16, he led his football team against these Rams into overtime, a winning drive, and a 2-point conversion. So if I'm Sam Darnold today, I get rid of all the ghost path. Because today he belongs out here, he will show he belongs out here, and he will play inspired football for Seattle.
And the Seattle Seahawks on the offensive side of the ball have some serious weapons outside of their star wide receiver, Jackson Smith and Jigba. They got Kenneth Walker at the running back position, and he runs angry. And you don't want to tackle someone that runs angry, especially when it's this cold outside. And then Rashid Shaheed. John Snyder was working on a trade for 4 weeks prior to the trade deadline and finally got his guy. And man, has he been a difference maker. 3 kick returns for touchdowns since he's been on Seattle. And then my unsung hero of this offense, A.J. Barner. He's a tight end, obviously, and that's why I love him so much, but he plays with attitude out there. I love his style. He plays the game like he's going to fight someone, and they feed off his energy throughout the whole game.
You know, one thing, Howie, is they got to make sure Zach Charbonnet is now out, so Kenneth Walker's maybe going to have to do it a little bit by himself, but maybe the way the defense plays will help.
Yeah, and it's the number one scoring offense versus the number one scoring defense, and that's what it comes down to. And I think John Snyder knew with in division, McVay, Shanahan, you got to compete. I've got to bring in Mike McDonald to complex defense. They bring in DeMarcus Lawrence, Williams at defensive tackle, Jones at backer last year, and their second-round pick, even Wari, is kind of their version of Kyle Hamilton that he had and Mike McDonald had in Baltimore. I think the key today is, can they get Matthew Stafford off his spot? It's not necessarily the sacks. They haven't sacked Matthew Stafford since 2023. So it's the hurries, it's the hits. Get him off his spot, force him to make an errant throw.
Yeah, rush it. Yeah.
All right, guys, we're getting closer to
game-winning drives both in the regular season and the playoffs. That's something Seattle doesn't want to see. The ball in his hands with 2 minutes to go on a drive.
And Howie, in the offseason, the Rams made a true business decision. They moved on from their star wide receiver, Cooper Kupp, and they went out and they got Davante Adams, and that has surely paid off. Davante on the goal line is like the tush push. He's just automatic. And then there's Puka Nacua. And here's the thing about Puka. Everyone knows it's going to him, and he still makes the play. He's just a beast. Puka is just a savage out there on the field. And is he more dangerous getting open or with the ball in his hands? Well, I can't answer that because he is so good at both. He is just demoralizing to defenses all year.
And, for me, on the defensive side, that's going to be the biggest thing for the Rams. But up to week 12, they would get up 16 points a game. After week 12, 26.9. And for those of you who are mathematically challenged at our desk, that's 10 points, okay? I'm just clearing that up.
All right, good.
The problem is...
I'm good at math.
But the problem is in the red zone. They struggled in the red zone. They allow 6 touchdowns on 7 opportunities by their opponents. Defense, they have 26 takeaways. And good news about that is 6 of those are directly from Sam Darnold. So I know they're hoping for that today. But Jared Verse has to have a big game. They have to put pressure on Sam Darnold. That has always been a knock. You put pressure on Darnold, you make him panic. He's going to have a big game. And Byron Young had 12 sacks this season, none in the playoffs. They need him to show up and do well as also.
Two things have to happen for a football team to be successful and even great. Number one, you better have a great coach. So I think Les Snead, when he brought in Sean McVay, got his coach. This is McVay's 9th year. Secondly, you better have a quarterback. Matthew Stafford up for MVP. He's got the quarterback. He's got the head coach. Now here's what happened. That coach who came in as one of these offensive, smart guys can do it all, and we saw that. His brilliance on offense is amazing. But a great coach can make adjustments. He has to. And what I've seen so far with McVay this year is his ability to go to the running game. Howie talks about formation 13. 1 back, 3 tight ends. He used that inside the 20. But then he said, whoa, Davante Adams out. I'm going to use it the rest of the way. He's done that 19 runs against the Bears to win that game. Huge for that football team.
You got a chance to see McVay with his oldest son, Jordan, his wife, Veronica. McVay turned 40 years old yesterday.
Oh, boy.
And trying to get to his 3rd Super Bowl. All right, it's almost time for kickoff. Why don't we